Well, responsible. How about that?
Perfect.
We
Happy
just experienced it.
Monday. It is
Happy
a
Monday.
morning for you to feel like it's Friday. Why not? Or Saturday or Sunday.
Good morning, lovely people. You know, there's something that I've been working with as long, and Tammy had just got to experience it as well. You know, we're talking about relationships with your significant other, relationship with your family, your friends, your parents. And you know, we grew up with family. We grew up with parents or caretakers or your grandma, your aunt, whoever it
Mhm.
was. And as babies, as newborns, we're so dependent on these people. We're dependent on humans to help us survive. So then we
Exactly.
created identities and coping skills on how we can best get what we need, right? So we created ways of coping. Um, and if you didn't get what you needed, you either, you know, everyone's a narcissist, okay? This is what our training teaches us, that we're all narcissists at certain levels, at certain spectrums. And so you know, there's a narcissist in your family, a parent or whoever your caretakers. And there's nothing, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with being a narcissist. Is, you know, well, there's that's kind of complex because we've given it these really bad ugly things because they take care of themselves. They know what they want. And so you pick the partner that loves to serve, loves to give, because their self-esteem or their co-parenting or their parenting, how they grew up was like, I need to please so I can get love, I need to please so I can be connected, I need to survive, I need, because what would happen, Tammy? We would die.
Yeah.
We would die if we did not learn those coping mechanisms. So now we bring them to our relationships today, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really interesting to think that how come you see this sweet person with this narcissist? And it's because they both have that need for, the other, whatever the other person brings. You have to please somebody, we'll pick a narcissist because you're never gonna please, right? You'll always have somebody to keep pleasing then, to try to keep pleasing. And that's really interesting. I was listening to Oprah and she was talking about the disease to please. And she was talking about how she remembered the very first time she was like, I don't want to give to this charity. Because, when you're a multi-billionaire, everybody wants your money. And she said, the next, she said, Stevie, I think it was Stevie Wonder called her up. And he was like, hey, do you want to give to this charity? And she's like, I didn't want to, but I always said yes, because I had it. And and don't you love the children? And of course I love the children. But so she said no. And he said, okay, catch you later, or what. And she was like, wow, because that disease to please becomes an anxiety inside.
A worry, a
Yeah.
responsibility, a dread, an empty void. Like you said, you can't. So my loop is growing up. You're trying to please your parents the best way you know how, the best,
Right.
because what happens is we start not being authentic. We start not honoring our emotions and our feelings, and uh, we start doing what they like, what they want, because we don't want to get beat, we don't want to get yelled at, we don't want to get ostracized, we don't want to lose love and connection. And so you
Right.
start building this callous, this callous, maybe, yeah. And then somewhere in your memory, back when you made a decision where you're like, I'm just going to do whatever they say, shut my feelings down. And then it comes out, right? It comes out in an uglier pair of
Yeah.
shoes, 40 years later,
Anger.
like
Yeah.
crazy,
Anger, hate,
and you don't even know,
bitterness. Yeah.
you don't even know why you're in this pattern with your significant other. And it's such a beautiful dance if we can slow down, not overreact, not and just respond in a way that you can like slow that process down, because what did you get to experience right now when you have this responsibility feeling that always loops around that you have to take on, and what happened when you slowed it down, Tammy? You
Yeah,
just
it's super interesting. So it would have been nice to have it live, and maybe we'll do that next time because I'm going through some things right now. So I was noticing how when people talk to me about somebody, how I start to feel responsible because I'm like, oh, I don't want them to think somebody's bad or evil. And I don't want to, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this. And, there's all these overthinking thoughts that can happen when life happens and it didn't go as you planned. And so just all of a sudden, I just closed my eyes and started thinking about that sensation. And I went right back to, you want to keep your parents happy. You want to keep your parents happy. And I don't even remember them doing a lot of fighting, but I just all of a sudden felt this like strong desire. So here I am, this little child, and I'm imagining looking at this little child right in front of me, but it's me. It's the little me. And I was like, why do you have to please why do you have to make them happy? Why do you have to? And so it was a judgment of what, a 2 or 3 year old or 4 year old. I mean, so just noticing that right there. And then I noticed that if I kept them happy, then they would stay together. And so that was my goal. Well, as a child, that feels important because if your parents are together, then they're both there for you, right? You have two people taking care of you. And then I all of a sudden had this chanting sound in my head that was like, you got to make them happy, or you have to make people happy, make them happy, make them happy. It was this just like an audible sound of a chanting, make other people happy, make them happy. And then I sat there and just got even quieter and even stiller. And then I was like, oh, make me happy, make me happy. And then I went out and played because it really wasn't my issue to begin with. I wasn't responsible for them.
Right.
It was just the way that I was dealing with it. So it's powerful and it feels calming to know that, all I have to be responsible for is myself.
Right. So what can you do? What can you do to activate that in the next day? Like, what 3 actions can you do to activate that way of being that really anchors what happened in your head to this physical world? So how do you make you happy? Write 3 things down. And guys,
Yeah.
this was a process. Tammy's an experienced brain trainer, so we were able to flip it quicker and faster, and we were able to direct it. So I don't recommend you go into that if it's high emotions.
Right.
You can do the stop technique to calm yourselves down. And what I want to get at is that we need to make peace with all parts of us. Okay, we have the good, we have the bad, and we have the ugly. And the ugly is only determined based on us, right? So maybe Tammy felt ugly if she didn't care about her parents. That would be like an ugly, selfish thing to do.
Right.
But now she's not 12, or 13 or 5 or 6. And now we're just updating. We're updating that memory. And you don't have to have a visual of that time. Your body hold that information. When you're a baby, you cried, they fed you, you had poopy diapers, they cleaned you up, and you communicated by yelling or having your tantrum or having your fit, and that was the only way of communication. So you might not have developed the conscious memory. It's all unconscious. So either you're holding it through your in your body, and so we can direct it and rewrite it, flip it, switch it, and make it better again.
Yeah. Yeah. What's really interesting is that a lot of times I know that a lot of people do meditation, they do yoga, they do these things, but oftentimes what we're doing when we do that, and also when we sit quiet, is we're just like I was doing, judging that part of myself. Right. And that might be the first step that you do. And that is how come you can't meditate very well or get calm, right? Because as soon as you're in that judgment, then all of a sudden, that's condemning your physical body. Like, I can't, right? It's the opposite. It's
All
the
of a sudden you have to pay your bills, you have to do this, you have to do that. This is taking, all of a
right.
sudden,
The
yeah.
judgment shows up in the, yeah, because you just focused your brain to notice that. That's what Rita's saying. Like you just focused your brain to notice all the other judgments. And maybe you start thinking about that other person that, that you're in a relationship with, that you can't stand, that brings this feeling up for you that makes you angry, or maybe you love them and they make you, they bring out the worst emotions in you. So that's really important that you sit with that still, that judgment, and then and go deeper into it, because there's always a wounded person behind it.
There's two wounded people. You're
It
wounded,
probably.
and they're wounded. You
Yeah,
react, they react. You react,
right.
they react. You react, they hurt you. And it's such a tight knit. How it's the opposite. So what is the opposite of judgment?
I had to say love for me. Like, I want whoever's watching, I want you guys to think about that. What is the opposite of judgment? The reason I say love is because when I'm totally in, people say you have your colored glasses on, like you can't see the bad things. And so that would be the opposite for me, because I'm not even noticing, it's just such a peaceful place.
Yeah, and you guys, as brain trainers, did I ever say hi? This is Rita Wood. This is Tammy. We're your brain trainers, in your
Now you know.
relationships. Now you know, and I think this is because we know how the mechanics of the brain. We know that consciously we make decisions, and then we have this automatic stuff that just keeps coming up, and so we need to treat the whole person. We need to
Mhm.
heal the whole person. We need to make complete and total peace with the whole person, with how you're doing it inside. And if you slow things down, continue to breathe, be conscious, know that there's going to be an upset. What are you going to do with your next upset, right? You're going to do the stop technique, or you're going to breathe, right? You're going to find the memory that, what are you making that mean? I'm not good enough, I'm not capable. You make it
Right.
mean something, so you react from that perspective, that lens, like Tammy was saying.
Exactly. And the reason why it's powerful to know to well, it's powerful to have a coach, of course, because if you're in your own funk, as we're calling it, if you're in your own funk, man, there's no other perspective. You're just like, this perspective is it. And these are the colored glasses that you notice everything bad, and you can't even find a happy memory or a happy sensation or a good feeling for yourself. And so that's important to have somebody else directing that process for you, and then to get in there and ask those questions that are going to set the younger version of you free to react different. I mean, free to be different. Because when that little me went out and played, now I have a freedom to be authentic and not reacting to please somebody else in order to please someone. So every time you peel that onion down, you get rid of some of those sensations of I'm responsible. Really,
Yeah.
for me, that's been a deep root.
And every reaction has a good intention. So if you have your spouse, your loved one that's reacted, they're trying to protect that wounded part of them, that part that has created chaos. But come to the calls. We have a free call tonight, right? What time?
Yes, tonight at 7 Central. We're excited. It's all about how to break up with those, I think, the limiting beliefs that we have surrounding relationships, connection. Um, what did we title it, Rita? Do you remember?
Breaking up with bad habits, breaking up with, bad mindsets, bad emotions. And they're not really bad. Like I said, everything has a good intention. It's just you don't need it at age 50. You don't need it inside your marriage, while you're trying
Uh,
to grow your children. You want to have a different mindset towards that. So
exactly.
just consciously coming into the call, come with an open mind. Things will shift and change. It's just going to it's going to allow you to step into a new awareness, step into what is possible, step into a deeper love, a deeper connection with you, and how you are doing it in your own body, mind, in your own head.
And you're the only person, I say this often, you're the only person you're going to be with for the rest of your life. So having peace and knowing how to have peace with all parts of of your life, what you've done wrong, what you've done right, what you've judged. I mean, if you're not there right now, we want to eliminate unwanted sensations from that, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
jealousy or anger or people pleasing or anything that's not serving you presently to live the life you love, to have the relationship you love. So awesome. Well, it's been great meeting with you guys. We'd love to see you tonight. Like this video, share it with a friend. We want to bring friends along into healing and breaking up with those bad habits as well, whatever they are.
Time to do some shifting, switching and flipping. Bye, guys.